Okay, so today we are starting on this Pyrotect helmet. This helmet was sponsored to the iRacing Northwest Tour. There were 3 of them, and we are going to do a complete pencil paint scheme on these. Pencil scheme, I guess, is what we could call it. First off, what I normally use for a helmet stand, I just grab some old crap that I had thrown together, and it's adjustable. I have this adjustable arm on it. As you can see, it's just a small base. I believe it's some sort of large C channel. 1 3/4 inch, 1.5 inch inside. I've got that nut welded there, and I set up kind of a T adjuster. I've got some old rags here that I wadded up, and I put a bunch of masking tape on, layers and layers and layers of masking tape. The helmet sits on there, they spin around, you can move it, it gets to all the sides. It's pretty well secured. I've actually never knocked one over, surprising. But yeah, that's all you need to be able to work on them. So now you know how to hold it in place and have a stand to work on it. Just basically, when you start on these things, disassemble it as much as you can. Getting rid of these gaskets, it's just not a feasible idea. Trying to replace those, it turns into a major headache. The best way around it is to just mask it as tight as possible. Well, now that we're going to wet sand this, if we were to go through and mask it, all that's going to fall off, and we run the risk of getting that goo stuck to it. So what I basically do is I'll run a trim piece of tape, some special tape that I've got. It's just a little bit more of a waxy type masking tape, so that it helps shed that water. It doesn't get the water, but ultimately I've just got to be careful not to get a lot of water in this helmet into these pads. There's going to be a little bit of water inevitably that gets in there, but like I say, if we were to mask it up, then get it wet, that water would sit in there and it would take longer for it to get out, for it to evaporate. So we will not mask it, we will sand it unmasked, other than plugging a couple of holes here. Other than that, let's get to it. Again, on this project, I choose to use 600 grit. It's a brand new surface. There is no reason why 600 grit wouldn't be sufficient on this. I will hit all my edges with my Scotch-Brite so that I know that I've got enough scuff, enough sand for paint to adhere, and all those little surfaces, those little corners down there, those are really difficult to get with sandpaper, so using Scotch-Brite is pretty much the only way to get in there, around those rivet, those nut certs, you know, around that, basically that bottom strip there. Get sandpaper down there is really, really difficult, so we're going to get Scotch-Brite down there as best we can so that we know it'll stick when we unmask, we don't peel that edge up. There is a couple of tricks I've got to cleaning that edge up if we do have a problem later on, but I'll show you when we mask it how easy it is to cover that up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug these holes up here. These little ones are going to be really, really difficult to get plugged, but basically what I do is I just rip off a chunk of this tape. Fold it up a few times over and over and over, and then just kind of stuff it down in there. Same thing with the next one. Just kind of wad it up, flop it a few times. Stuff it down in there. These are going to come right back out, so it's not really that big of a deal. I'm not going to leave any masking tape on this thing after I get done wet sanding, so I can make sure that it thoroughly dries. We don't have any water in there that can cause any issues. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a real quick line around here just to try to keep the water off these cheek pads. I'm not too worried about it getting over the front here because gravity doesn't go up and over. It shouldn't get down the front side of this, so mainly these sides. Really, this is all you need just to keep the water from flowing up underneath there. Yeah, water is going to drip down, but it's not going to wreak that much havoc. We'll, for the most part, keep the water going off the back. Water doesn't normally pierce those holes too much. It'll just kind of run over the side. Really, those top holes, and again, these ones are awful small, so it's going to be really difficult to get those covered up. I just got to be careful not to pack a bunch of water in it. Well, ready to start sanding. Well, you guys watched this one getting sanded. While I was at it, I went ahead and knocked that one out and that one. This one is on my little head spinny thing. Helps me lay lines, get graphics aligned. There's so much moving around during taping, layout, that it just makes life a lot easier. We're going to get moving right on into laying some pencil. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a really, really fun task. Really looking forward to it. Stay tuned and see how they come out.